Hey friends, Peggy Hall here from the Healthy American, and this is the Healthy American Morning Show. Today is Monday, October 25th, and I am tuning in from Southern California, and we are about to get hit with a massive rainstorm, which is kind of interesting because we need the rain, but we don't need it all in one slosh. And if you are interested in my take on the weather and weather patterns and what's going on with the weather, that is something I talk about over at peggyhall.tv. But here I talk about strategies and solutions and resources and remedies and tools and tips and techniques to help you and me keep our head above the waves in the stormy seas of life. We are going to talk about your emotions today, my emotions, and why all emotions are valid. All right, let's dive into the Healthy American Morning. I want to start my morning off with a lift in my step and a lift in my voice, and I'm so grateful that you are here as well. Let me know where you are tuning in from and what is going on in your neck of the woods regarding the weather today. Yes, Rhonda says it's raining in her area. We are about to get hit with it. I'm a little further south. And yes, we are happy for the rain. That is for sure. It always smells so good. The weather is something that used to affect my emotions quite a bit. Let me know if that's the same for you. I grew up as a sunny Southern California girl, an ocean swimmer, a swimmer in general, and I love nothing more than spending time on the beach or outdoors, walking, riding my bike, surfing, kayaking. I love, love, love being in the ocean. So when I was growing up and it was raining, I didn't really like the rain because it meant that I couldn't go to the beach or I would have to be outside, getting into even though I was going to be in a swimming pool and be wet, it's still a little dreary to be outside when it's raining. Well, my view on the weather has changed quite a bit. And I love, love, love the rain. I love what it smells like. I love getting comfy and cozy, having a fire, maybe a bowl of popcorn, some hot chocolate. But I have noticed in my many years on this earth that the weather has affected my emotions. And that is something interesting to me because it means that I am aware of my environment and I am aware of my emotions. And we talk about on this show awareness. That's something that is so important with how you live life. I hope I'm not sure. Yes, I'm back with you. I was like, I hope I'm not still sharing my screen. All right, here I am. My message for you today is that all emotions are valid. In our society, it is so common for other people to want to control how we feel. Or sometimes we want to squelch and squash the way that we feel. We want to change our emotions because we're thinking that those emotions are not appropriate, they're not suitable, they're not acceptable. For example, being angry. If you were on my concierge call on, let's see, today is Monday, that call we had on Friday, I really blew my lid. I really got angry and I expressed some very strong emotions. Now, people told me afterwards that they actually shared my frustration and outrage, and they were, I guess happy is the word. They were glad to see that I was upset because they were upset as well. So there are times and there are places when expressing our emotions is suitable. Now, I was doing that in a situation that was private. This is not something that aired publicly. I was not in a public place. I was not embarrassing anybody around me. I was not putting myself in front of others and causing a scene. So that's another way of expressing your emotions. Throughout this week, we're going to talk about expressing anger, expressing sadness, and expressing regret. And in those categories, there are a lot of other emotions. So when I think of the word anger, other words come up like frustration, outrage, indignation, being irate, being bitter, because unexpressed anger or stuck anger can come out as bitterness. It can also come out Did I mention rage? So a lot of emotions can be categorized under anger. And then when I think of sadness, which has a different feel for me in my body, in my heart, in my soul. Under sadness can, of course, there's sorrow, there's despair, there's heartache, there's grief, there can be depression. All of those things can be categorized or encompassed in this major category of sadness. And then when I think of regret can also come out in terms of, believe it or not, anxiety, because people are anxious. They don't want to make the wrong decision going forward because they don't want to regret it again. All sorts of emotions can fall into these three main categories. That's what we're going to be looking at. We'll look at anger tomorrow. We'll look at sadness the following day. We'll look at regret. Wow, it doesn't sound too positive, does it? But it will be positive because I'm going to help you express those emotions, move through those emotions, take care of those emotions, and then feel better. Imagine if you had a whole pile of laundry and you had not done the laundry in weeks, and you're like, oh, I don't even want to look at that pile of laundry. But once you take care of it and you wash the clothes and you take them out and they're like, oh, they're fresh and they're clean and you feel better. That's what we can do with our emotions. So often people do not want to express those emotions. They just want to keep them closed away in that laundry pile or closed away in a cabinet drawer or maybe in a box up on a shelf that you don't want to look at anymore. Some people keep all of those emotions buried inside. And I understand that because I've done that in my life, and it's a very common thing. Many people do that. Many, many people are ashamed of their emotions. They do not want to feel fear. They do not want to feel anger. They certainly do not want to feel sorrow because it may appear to them to be overwhelming. We talked about grudges last week and how carrying a grudge is like carrying a boulder on your shoulder. And when you set it down, even if you have not worked through forgiveness, at least the grudge you've set down and you can maybe ignore what has happened before. It's just not forefront in your mind. And I gave the example of my not holding a grudge against Southwest Airlines and then how that turned out to be for the good because I actually helped them with their issues. And I don't want to drift into that arena now of religious exemptions. We will talk about that this afternoon. This week, I've got coming up, just to give you a preview, in Peggy to the Rescue, we're going to talk about the 4 things that you have to have in place for your religious exemption, the 4 hoops that they make you jump through. And I've got solutions for each and every one of those. They are throwing more stuff at us, and I am keeping a few steps ahead of them. So stay tuned for 3 p.m. Pacific, all about that. What I want to let you know today, and what I want to reassure you, is that all emotions are valid. It is okay to feel anger. It is okay to feel bitterness. It is okay to feel regret and sorrow. And I mentioned frustration. That one comes up for me a lot because those are all normal human emotions. The problem is that our society will say, get over it. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Even parents will say to children, don't be a crybaby. What have you got to cry about? Or even worse would be, I'll give you something to cry about. Oh, that's just horrifying to hear that phrase. We've got so many expressions in our society. And I would say men get the short end of the stick in many cases. Men are told, and maybe they're not told explicitly with words, and maybe they are told with words, but they're certainly told in our society through just our culture that men should not cry, that it's not manly to cry, man up. Now, I kind of like that expression, man up, in certain situations, but the idea that men don't have this range of emotions, that's nonsense. That's hogwash, as I say. Men and women and children are created by our Creator with the entire range of emotions. And depending in great part on how you were raised is how you are expressing and dealing with your emotions as an adult. as children, we are dependent on adults for our very survival. I don't know most 3 or 4 or 5-year-olds that are out there earning a living. They don't have the means to put a roof over their head or buy food or clothes. And they also need comfort, and they need protection, and they need guidance, and they need love, and they need affection. They need all of those things. And as children, we all had our own unique situation growing up. Some of us had very, very difficult situations in terms of our family setting. There may have been violence, there may have been alcoholism, there may have been abuse, there may have been a lack of a parent. There may not have been parents at all, where the kids really were left to raise themselves. I personally know people that went through that. So we all have different situations growing up. Now, those of you that are listening, I'm assuming you are adults. So that is all over. That is done. We are no longer children. We no longer need to have the approval and the permission of others. And we can give our own self the encouragement and comfort and appreciation that we may not have gotten to the extent that we needed it as children. But the reason I'm talking about this is because those childhood patterns can etch into us a lot of our reactions and expressions to this very day. I'm going to give you a simple example of my own household and my husband's. So we grew up in very different households. Mine was large. There were 6 people, and there were a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents, and a lot of hoopla and just a lot going on. And that's how my family liked it. And there were also a lot of emotions going on. My mom never held back with her anger, and she had a temper, and sometimes you didn't know when it was going to be expressed. So I grew up knowing that raising your voice and having a powerful release of your emotions, that probably has formed a lot of who I am, which is why on my rants, I can let that go pretty easily. And my rants probably make some people squirm, and it makes them uncomfortable. They may even feel afraid of me or of the emotion. And it's extremely uncomfortable for them to have a raised voice, to have strong emotions, because that was not the type of household that they experienced growing up. My husband came from a family of 4, and he never, ever heard a raised voice. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, because there were probably a lot of unexpressed emotions that needed to be expressed, but instead they were all smushed under the surface. I didn't grow up in that household, so I don't know exactly what it was like, but I know, and I knew his parents, as I was an adult, and things that he has told me. So when I am expressing my strong emotions, and my husband coming from a family that didn't express strong emotions, you can imagine between the two of us, even though we're committed and love each other and all of that, it still causes friction. And it still is like, oh, it just is not something that he was comfortable with growing up. I'm not putting a judgment on which is better. We can talk about that another day. I'm just giving the fact of the matter. That would be like somebody growing up in the desert, never experiencing rain very often, and somebody growing up in the Pacific Northwest where they always had rain. It's just a different way of growing up. There are different things that you are used to. Now, somebody growing up in the rain may say, I didn't like it. I'm moving to a dry climate. I've had enough rain. I never want that again. Somebody else who lived in the desert may say, I want to move to the mountains where there's snow and rivers and lakes. Or they may say, I love the desert. That's where I'm comfortable, and that's my home. So your upbringing and your situation is going to inform you and give you a roadmap, or an insight is a better word, as to how you learned about expressing emotions. I know people that grew up with alcoholic parents, and they created a survival mechanism to never express their emotions, or to always be upbeat and the jokester, like trying to make jokes and laugh about things and really deny the reality of what was going on, because they were children and they needed to survive, and they needed the parent. Even though the parent was an alcoholic, they needed that parent for their very survival. And the way that we grow up as children has a huge impact in how we are as adults. What I want to share with you today, my main message today, is that we are no longer children. We ideally have developed a maturity, an emotional maturity, and we also have the ability, and without needing approval or permission from any authority figure, to express our emotions adequately, suitably, allow for our emotions, even acknowledge our emotions. And that's where I want to begin. So many people don't even know how they feel because of reasons growing up. And those of you that may have grown up in a household where there were a lot of strong emotions, you may also have cowered in the corner or decided, I don't want to yell and I don't want to be angry. Or maybe you love getting into, salty disputes and express your opinion because you're used to that. I have a dear friend whose mom was from Greece. And so the Greek culture is very, expressive. That's the word that I'll use. And some of you that have lived in cultures or are from a culture where they're much more fiery and the emotions are much more expressed, like Italians and Greeks. And I'm just using some generalizations here. And then there are other cultures where the emotions are much more held in, like Japanese culture, Asian culture. The emotions are much more restrained or constrained. These are generalizations. These are just cultural observations that I've made. So the message that I want to leave with you today is that all of your emotions are valid. If you feel sadness, it's okay to feel sad. If you're despairing, it's all right. There's reasons to feel despairing. If you feel frustrated, I share your frustration. If you are feeling angry or overwhelmed, all emotions are valid. Now, this show is all about a positive mental outlook, the PMO, or I also call it the Healthy American Attitude, but not until we have expressed the emotions. Otherwise, it's like trying to bandage the wound until you have not yet cleaned it out. You've got to clean out the wound before it can heal. Now, some of you may right now be saying, oh, I don't think I want to go here, Peggy. I've had enough tears for a lifetime. I went to anger management classes. I don't want to get through that again. You're poking the hornet's nest. Let's just leave things alone. I think I'll skip this week. I don't want to talk about regrets. I don't want to talk about sadness. I am over it. I understand. And then that's fine. Go on your merry way. I'll see you in the following week. For those of you that are curious, like, there might be something to this. I think I'm going to stick with Peggy, and I want to find out what she has to say about appropriate ways of expressing our emotions. I'm going to take a peek into our live stream and see what friends have going on here. Alan, I'm glad that you're here. I'm sorry to hear about your horrifying experiences. We all have had them. Yes, please email support@thehealthyamerican.org. My husband is a pastor. What I want to show you is this other program that I have for you, friends. And this is free. You can get started right away. We're going to be talking about this somewhat this week, but let me share my screen and I'm going to take you over to peggyhall.tv. And what I'd like you to do is watch this free 3-part series that I have from my husband, Pastor Dave, and I, How to Heal Broken Relationships. I want you to watch part 1. Part 1 is very much about what I'm sharing with you right now. And this is where I am talking about releasing and expressing strong emotions. The website, peggyhall.tv, is my private, exclusive, uncensored platform. And if you want to join that, I would love to have you join me. It is a dime and a nickel a day, 15 cents. It's a $4.99 a month. That helps me pay for the storage and the customer service and everything that has to go with running this website. So I would love for you to be there. It is ad-free. censorship free. And I talk up, these are some other exclusive videos that I do not have on any other platform. I talk about Colin Powell. I talk about my experience at In-N-Out. You get to see my speeches and appearances. And then I've got all of these other videos that are exclusive. They are not airing anywhere else. So if you're interested about all of these, it just goes on and on and on, all of my exclusive videos. So those are ad-free, censorship-free, but mainly I want to show you to this gift for you, how to heal broken relationships. So that has helped so many people. I would love to give you support. So I'm so glad that you're here at the Healthy American Morning. And I just want you to remind yourself as you go through your day today, just ask yourself, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? Some people find it difficult to actually tap into the feelings. They have spent so much of their life repressing the feelings. And we do not need to dig into old memories. Don't worry about that whatsoever. We're talking about emotions that are coming to the surface now. And some of these emotions may be coming to the surface because they were not suitably expressed in past time. Now, I've had quite a bit of loss in my life, quite a bit of loved ones passing away and other trials and hardships and so forth. And I realized that some of the losses I've had, I actually did not grieve. And we'll talk about in a future show, grief and what that really means. And how do you know if you've grieved suitably, appropriately, or if there's something still left, if there's more wounds that need to be cleaned. I want to help you with this. It actually feels so much better when you're done. I am not I'm actually trained as a lay counselor. So that is a helping encourager. I am not licensed as a psychotherapist. That's not what I'm doing whatsoever. I am a caring friend who wants to help you feel better. So think of that as a shoulder to cry on, a comforting, an ear that somebody wants to listen to what's going on. That's exactly what I'm offering here. I've been through some stormy seas. I want to help you get through those stormy seas. The first step is to say, whatever I'm feeling is valid. And if I want to be angry, I have the right to be angry. And if I want to be frustrated, I have the right to be frustrated. If I want to be sad, if I want to be depressed, if I want to be despairing, I have a right to all those feelings. I have a right to feel that vindictive. I have a right to feel elated. I have a right to feel happy for no reason. I have a right to feel curious and joyful and excited. I have a right to feel all of those things, and no one has the right to tell me otherwise. That's the message that I have for you today. As we go throughout the week, by the way, friends, this week we're going just through Thursday, Monday through Thursday for the Healthy American Morning, and Monday through Thursday for Peggy to the Rescue. So make sure that you tune in. Excuse me, you can always catch these as a replay. I have been talking for hours and hours and hours, day in, day out, all day, every day for you, for your solutions, not only in the emotional realm, the physical realm, but also what's going on in our everyday life. So I'm going to sign off now, friends. If you want more and you can't wait until 3 p.m., I'm about to do a live stream on Facebook, and that is Peggy.Hall1. Thank you for the moderators to put that in the comment. Peggy.Hall1 is where you can find me on Facebook. I would love for you to join me on Instagram. That is the Healthy American Peggy Hall. And if you would follow me on both of those platforms, it helps my message get out to others. Now, Facebook is majorly shadow banning me. What does that mean? It means it doesn't allow you to comment on my videos. It doesn't even allow, I hope it allows you to share my videos. So it does not even alert you when I'm going live. So I want everybody to know that I'm going to be going live on Facebook at 10:45 a.m. Monday through Thursday, and we'll be talking a little bit more about current events. So if you can't wait until Peggy to the Rescue here on YouTube, join me over at my Facebook platform. If you're not on Facebook, don't worry. All of my Facebook and all of my Instagram lives are also over at peggyhall.tv. So please join me there, friends. It is a way that I can get my uncensored information out to you. All of my videos on YouTube are also housed there. It's like a treasure trove. I've got hundreds and hundreds, thousands of videos. So if you can't get enough of my teaching, that's where you can get more. It helps support me and the work that I do, and I'm so grateful for you. All right, let's take another quick look in the stream, who we've got with us today, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Big shout out to KP and Rhonda for moderating the stream. We do keep it focused on the topic at hand and our positivity here. And we'll see you at 3 p.m., friends. Let me know tomorrow. I want you to think about the range of emotions you felt today. Now, what you can do is just get a little notebook and a pen. And as you go throughout your day, like maybe after this live stream, you can say to yourself, what am I feeling today? Am I feeling calm, relaxed, happy, content? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling worried? Am I feeling nervous? Am I feeling curious? Am I feeling excited? And just start to explore the whole range of emotions. There's no right, there's no wrong. As we go throughout the week, I'm going to help you express and work through those emotions. So if you're feeling depressed or overwhelmed or put upon or anxious, I will help you release those and work through them. Today, it is all about awareness. What am I feeling and why am I feeling that? And if you're not sure how to feel your emotions, start with your body. What am I feeling? Tense in my neck? Do I have an upset stomach? Am I grinding my teeth? Am I furrowing my brow? Or do I have a lightness in my body? Start with physical feelings in your body can give you a clue as to the emotional feelings in your heart, mind, and soul. And I say heart, mind, and soul because the Bible reminds us to take every thought captive, to think about what we're thinking in our mind. What am I thinking about? Maybe I'm thinking about something. Maybe that's making me feel a certain way. Maybe I just woke up with this emotion and that is making me think a certain way. And then we also are called to guard our heart. And that's where our emotions really are seated. So it's so important that we develop an emotional maturity so that we have the wherewithal to feel the whole range of emotions, and then we can express and process and release them so that the emotions are not pulling us down by our ankles. That's the end goal for this week, is that you can feel freer, lighter, more authentic, and you can claim those emotions. You can embrace those emotions. And gosh darn it, if you want to cry, if you want to yell, if you want to stay in bed, you have permission to do so. I'm going to help you release those appropriately so no one gets hurt, including you. And I'm so grateful. I love, love, love my Healthy Americans here. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have the best audience on YouTube. You're smart, savvy, supportive, and I look forward to all of our time together. I also want to thank all of you for doing that thumbs up, the like button. Sometimes I've heard that sometimes you need to minimize the chat in order to find it on your phone, or if you're on your computer, it should be right under the title of the video. So thank you. God bless you all. And you can always email support@thehealthyamerican.org. I have a wonderful team: Olivia, Nari, Dana, Dave, Katie. They are there to help you. I thank my moderators. I could not do it without you. And I can't wait until tomorrow. We are going to talk about releasing anger. And if you are not a person that is prone to anger, like my husband, who grew up in a family where anger was not expressed, it doesn't mean anger was not felt. That can be a very tricky and troubling situation when people have anger seething under the surface. That's not healthy either. So I will share with you I never even use that word. I will share with you effective and appropriate ways to express that anger. And if you feel, hey, I'm not a person that really gets angry that much, this can help a loved one or a not so loved one. And you will be more informed and have more tools. And in the future, if you feel angry, you'll say, hey, I remember what Peggy said about this. I'm going to give it a try. Friends, have a wonderful, wonderful, healthy American morning. I hope that it has everything that you need, and that I hope that you are going to make it a great morning. I am just about to hop on over to my Facebook page at 10:45. These are all Pacific times. And if not, I will see you back here tomorrow morning or 3 p.m. Peggy to the rescue. Signing off now, friends, and I will see you